That's the reason we have to do. We have to do that. Then once you just realize what the master doing just teach you, then you never have any trouble. You never have any questions. Yeah, you'll be able to be completely free from everything. Only this way. Only this way. So if you just want to satisfy with everything, you have to do this, that. Thinking of not thinking. Such a completely far beyond the thinking. But we have to do it. Okay. So we go back to today's take is 11, number 11. Not thinking, nothing. And then learning the truth. As I just always mention about, thinking is another reality. Thinking is another truth. See, when I face this, I simply become as it is, without thinking, without doing anything. See, simply just become as it is. See, but people never understand this. Why we have to do, why we have to be. See, when we just face this, see? People never understand it because people never understand. People never understand what's happened before recognition, before consciousness. You see, what people will be able to just understand is after recognition, after thinking come out, after the word and the letters come out. See, only that things people will be able to understand. But people never understand before recognition. When I face this, I simply become as it is. See, without doing anything. Without doing anything is without self, without self. But people never understand it. That's the reason people always, it causes us confused. See? Very simple. So when I face this, I simply become as it is, without doing. Only this activity we are always doing well in our daily life. In our daily life, I simply become as it is. And when I clap my hand, you simply become this. See, without doing anything. See, in another word, excuse me. In another word, our activity, our action is nothing concerned with thinking. See, what the people just always think of, because we think of what we have to do, then we'll be able to act. We'll be able to just do the things what we just thought on. This is totally misunderstanding. This is totally misunderstanding. See? Without thinking. So I simply just talk to you. Without thinking. You simply just listen to what I'm talking about. See? Then kind of a recognition just happen. Then you'll be able to understand because I try to listen to, then I can just listen to what I'm talking about. This is a total mission. This kind of activity, we never, we never done before. Without doing anything, we can simply become. See, we can simply become as it is. See, oneness, oneness. People never understand this activity, oneness. See? Oneness is you don't need to you don't need to you don't need to understand what oneness is because of oneness. One. You don't need to know much about what oneness is because of oneness. See, because of itself never be able to be understood what it is because of oneness. The people never understand this reality. This causes trouble without trying to do anything. Right? Without trying to do anything, we can just simply act. Very great, very great. But people don't know much about this yet. Okay, that's the reason we have to do. We have to do a Dharma. Okay. So, what again, Roshi wanna teach us with text number 11, not thinking, learning the truth. Although it is said that doing zazen, you should just sit without thinking. Yeah. Well, I don't know much about what's the then teacher just try to just teach you. But in Japan, excuse me, in Japan, most of the teachers just say, just sit, just sit, see, without thinking. See? But mostly Japanese teacher just teach us this way. See, or by concept or in concept, it will be able to understand. Okay, this way we have to think without thinking. But the thing is, even you understand what's way what way you just said, but you never understand how to do it. How to do it. Yeah? Just sit without thinking. Just sit. Excuse me. Just sit without thinking. How we can do it? How we can do it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Whenever just thinking also, just come out in our mind. Just let it go. Well, you may be able to understand it, but you never able to do it. You never able to do it. So this is very important. Okay. Although it is said that doing zazen, you should just sit without thinking. What does it mean? What does it mean to just sit? See, what does it mean to just sit? It's a total. It's a total problem for us. For us. That's the reason we have to just think of it. How will we be able to do it? See? Then Master Dogen said, Zen Master Dogen said, think of not thinking. Think of not thinking. So it's just great. Just great. Think of not think of not thinking. Think of not thinking. It's because why does why does the Master Dogen just have to teach it? He, see, we think of not thinking. We don't know the reason why is we don't know much about who we we don't know much about who we are, who we are. That's the reason. See, then Master Dogi just have to say, think of not thinking. See? Because what people just think of is this is this is another human body, but people just think of this one is people just regard this one as a self or as a I. This is totally misunderstanding. But people think of that. Then in this body, there is a kind of a self, see, exists. And this kind of self think of what we have to do, what we want to do. And then that kind of thinking just come out. This is a total misunderstanding. This one is empty. See, not a human body. This is a Dharma body. See? As far as Dharma body, there is nothing concerned with what we think of the self. Totally empty. Totally empty. So the reason why the thinking just come out is without self, simply just thinking or thought come out in our mind. Without any reason, thinking or thought just come out in our mind. That's the reason we don't need to care much about it. We don't need to care much about it. But without any reason. That's the reason we don't need to care much about. But people always care much about it. People always attached to thinking. So it causes trouble. It causes problems. We don't need to do it. So simply just come out in our mind. Thinking or so simply come out in our mind. See, when I just face it, I simply become as it is. The same function. Same thing. When I face this, I simply become as it is. Without doing anything. without doing anything is without self. Without self, I simply become as it is. See, when I clap my hand, you simply become as it is without doing anything. Same function. Thinking has just come out. See? Without self, without thinking. Thinking also coming out without thinking. Simply just without reason, just thinking comes. Just like a bubble in the river, bubbles in the river. Without any reason, simply just come out. So we don't need to care much about it at all. But people care much about it. So that's causes trouble. That's causes problem. That's the reason. once we just realize what the Dogen Master Dogen just says as the think of not think. See? How you can do it? how you can do it. And whatever thinking also come out in your mind without any reason. That's the reason you don't care. You don't need to care much about it. Whatever, whatever thinking come out in your mind, simply just let it go as it is. The more you do this, as I just always mentioned, the more you do this, the more you just become as it is. There is there is no separation. There is no separation between this and that. Then eventually, you never know much about what it is and what it is. Once you have this experience, then you'll be able to know much about what's the master Dogen that's want to teach us think of not thinking. See? As long as the thinking or thought still left in your mind, you never be able to realize this reality. See? Once your thinking also completely dropped away, completely ceased, then, as I just mentioned, there is no separation between this and that. See? Then you'll be able to just understand. You'll be able to realize who you are, what the essential self is, what is the think of not thinking. Only doesn't you can do it. So we want to recommend you to do that because you don't know much. You don't know much about think of not thinking, even in concept. Even in concept, you don't know much about. You never be able to just realize the understanding. So, all these other things you can do it. Okay. Then Master Dogen said, think of not thinking. Think of not thinking, as I just mentioned. By thinking or thought or concept, you never be able to understand it. You never be able to just accept it. Think of not thinking. What it is. It's a totally incredible matter for us to think of. Okay, but you don't need to worry about. You don't need to worry about. Even you don't know much about it right now. Simply just you do doesn't. Then eventually you'll be able to understand. You'll be able to realize what's think of not thinking is. All these other things you can do. Is it possible to see? Is it possible to see what is in front of us without thinking? When I face this, when I face this, I simply become as it is. I simply become the things as I faced it. See? Without doing anything. See? See? I simply become oneness. I simply become one with the things as I faced. This way, I'll be able to just realize what it is without thinking. See, oneness. See, become one. It's become itself. See? Itself never be known what it is. See, by thinking, because of oneness. See, I simply become as it is. The people never understand this reality. But this way, people are always just acting right now. You know who's this. I simply become as it is. But people never notice. People never notice this the fact, this the situation, this kind of wondrous, wondrous aspect. See, the reason why people never be able to just care much about this reality is see, there is certain separation. Although it is another, there is another separation at all, but in concept, in thinking, there is a certain separation between the things and what we think of the self. This is cause us never be able to just understand. You see, always as far as things, there are the two things. Two things. There is two things. One is the things they recognize. The things being recognized, and the person who just recognized. Two things, two matters just happen. See, that's the reason there is a certain separation between that and this. That is another truth. That is another truth. That is another reality. Reality is simply become as it is, oneness. See? There is no separation between that and this. See, one. This is this is totally difficult. This is totally difficult, or totally impossible for us to what it is, to totally recognize, for us to recognize what it is, but it doesn't. But doesn't. See? The more you do doesn't, the more just you just become the things as you face. Only that you can do it. So that's the Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just recommend us to do that. What zazen is, think of not think of not thinking. See? What zazen is, think of not thinking. You're going to be much more confused. I never try to do it. See? But as long as you care much about, as long as you care much about thinking and so, it causes you confused. See? That's the reason the Master Dogen that teaches you. See? Whatever thinking or thoughts just come out in our mind, simply let it go as it is. You never care much about thinking. You never care much. You never try to deal with thinking. Simply just let it go as it is. See? The more you do this, as I just mentioned, the more you just become the things as you face. eventually there is no separation. There is no separation between days and days. Although we are just acting, see, although we are always acting, thinking of not thinking. So that's the reason we don't need to do anything. You see, we don't need to do anything. Very great. So, but people never understand this reality. So people always just try to do. And the people are so exhausted. people, be, people become so exhausted. Then totally give up. Gary-san, you're the only person. You are the only person who never just give up. Give up to stay in library. Very great. Okay. Is it impossible to see what is in front of us without thinking? See? When I face this, as I just mentioned, without doing, without thinking, I simply become. We simply will be able to know much about what it is. See what it is. See? See? That is nothing concerned with thinking or the word was and the letter. That is nothing concerned. See? Without thinking, without the word or the letters, we know much about what it is. Because we simply become as it is. See? That's the reason we don't need to know much about what it is by thinking. So, see? Simply become as it is. But people never understand this reality. Although people are always doing, always doing or always acting this way. That's the reason. Oh, although we don't deny the thinking, we don't deny thinking of thought, but thinking of thought, without thinking of thought, we can simply act. See, that's the reason. Even you don't know much about anything, you don't need to worry about anything because you can do it. See, just just think of the baby without any knowledge, without any thinking. See, baby cannot act. See, without any knowledge, without any anything idea or thinking. Baby always just moving, acting. See, they never they never just mix up the milk and water. The baby never mix up the milk and water and the beer. or, only God is you mix up the beer and water. and the 日本酒だけ See, not much. See, essentially, we are so complete uh, and universal. That's way the Master Dogen just teach you. Our activity is complete and universal, without knowing anything, without education, we are complete. Our activity is a complete and universal. But unfortunately, people don't know much about this reality. Is it impossible to see what is in front of us without thinking? Very simple. When I just face it, when I see this one, I simply become as it is. That's it. Nothing more than very, very much complete and so-called universal. Before you see, before you use your thought, things are already reflected in your eyes. When I face it, the things come out in our eye, They finish. The end. Nothing more is, nothing more. They will be able to know much about what it is. Without concept, without thinking. See, this one is such a thing. This one is, this one's activities are such a great one, tremendous. Nothing comes out thinking like so. Right. How about the sound of cows? How about the sound of cows and the people's voice? Exactly same. When I clap my hand, you simply become what I did, without doing anything, This is Dhamma. This is the Dhamma. This is the Dhamma. This is the essential step. This reality, basically, we have to experience. So we have to realize. Otherwise, we always have to have a kind of suffering. See, have to have a suffering. See, once you just realize what this once you just realize what this is, you never have any trouble. You never have any trouble because you'll be able to realize without doing anything, we can simply, we'll be able to just simply act without self. Without self, we never have any trouble. See? Once you just recognize this one as a self or I, see, it causes us trouble. It causes trouble. You never be able to just recognize this one as a self or as I. You never have any trouble. You never have any trouble. That's much. That's much. What we think of the self. See, separate from so-called suffering. That's the reason we have to do a zazen. If you can just if you can do the zazen, if you can do zazen, and then once the thinking of thought completely cease, then you'll be able to understand. Oh, This is another thing what we think about, think of the self or I. This is a Dharma body. This is Dharma body. See, this Dharma body is so huge, tremendous. See? Once you just born on the earth. See, then what we see, what we think about, think of the universe just come out at the same time. Because this is the universe itself. See? Without this, what we think of the universe never exists. See, people don't know much about this, unfortunately. This one is that much. This one is so tremendous, incredible. Nothing concerned with what we think of the self. That's the reason we have to do that. Excellent. So things are already reflected in your eyes. How about the sound of cows and people's voices? Exactly same. When entering a Zazen home, the fragrance of incense can be realized regardless of one's thought. Please see this for yourself. Although you understand, or you can understand what the essential self is, what's the realization of Shakyamuni Buddhas. See, it's a totally useless. See, that's a totally useless. Why it is totally useless is there is certain separation between what you just realize, what you understand, what the realization is in concept, and what you think of the self. There is certain separation. That's the reason we have to do that. Then once you just become one with your face, then you'll be able to understand. Or you never just separate from the thing. You never say, oh, I should say, you never separate from right now, right here. See? That's the reason once we just realize who we are, once we just become the things as we just faced, then you never just separate from right now, right here. You never have any trouble. You never have any doubts. That's the experience, in a sense. That's the experience once we need to be completely, what you may say, one, become one. Although right now, when I face this, I simply become as it is. Yeah. Although we are just become, although we are just acting this way, but people never understand it, or people never accept it, never be able to accept. This is a whole problem. That's the reason we have to do a zazen. See? Exactly what the Shakyamuni Buddha's realization, we are just acting right now. But even that Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarch says, you never be able to accept it. This is a whole problem. That's the reason. until you just accept it, we have to do that. So only that you'll be able to do it. Okay. Oh, okay. This is the way. This is the way non-thinking works in daily life. Non-thinking is normal human condition thinking, learning the truth. See, as I just mentioned, even we are just acting without thinking. Our activity is non-thinking. See? But the thing is, even you understand it, you understand in concept when you think. You cannot be you cannot be a person who just become one. That's the reason. That's the reason we have to do that. See, until we just accept it. This is the most important thing. Even you just you just be able to understand it by thinking or concept. You never be able to accept it. You never be able to accept it. That is useless. That is useless. That's the reason we have to do it that until we just accept it. Accepting is another thinking. Well, nothing by thinking. So see, you simply become one. You simply become one as it is. See? This thing, this expresses my innocence. See, then you never be separate from the right now, right here. You feel so great, so great, very great. This is the way non-thinking works in daily life. Every activity is see non-thinking. The way of non-thinking. You just acting without thinking, But people never accept it. That is the whole problem. So once, as I just mentioned, once you just become one, as you face, you never have any trouble. You never have any doubt. You simply, you'll be able to simply accept it. What the master yogi just teaching, non-thinking, think of not thinking, think of not thinking. Okay. This is the way. This is the way non-thinking works in daily life. Non-thinking is the normal human condition. We are always acting. We are always our existence is non-thinking. Non-thinking. Nothing concerns the thinking. But the people always just try to do everything by thinking. That's a totally useless. See, without doing anything, without thinking, we can simply act right now, right here. See? But people don't know much about this reality. It's caused us trouble at thinking. Only this way Only this, nothing more. Only this causes trouble, question. That's the reason we have to do it, does it? Okay. By experimenting using my own faculty, we verify the state of non-thinking by thinking of not thinking. See, I verify the state of non-thinking by thinking of not thinking. Very good. See, we don't need to do anything. In other words, we don't need to do anything by thinking. Well, yeah, I simply just, I simply as I am. I simply become as I am. That's a totally enough. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to try to do anything. The sun, the sun come up in our ID. Then I simply become as it is. And we know much about what happened. The end. Nothing in there. But any more trouble. No more trouble at all. Without doing anything. This is the essential self. Yeah? What we just say, the essential self. See, the people just imagine. People just imagine or assume a kind of substance of the essential self. But that is a total misunderstanding. See, the essential self is no substance. See, no substance at all. See, when I clap my hand, the essential self just come out and disappear. Nothing there. See? Dr. Thompson will be able to understand. See, there is there is no substance. See, the essential self is a no substance at all. When you just do a surgery, what you just do, see, without substance. The essential self, is no substance at all. Simply just come out as it is, then disappear. Nothing there. Very wondrous. Very wondrous. But we have to realize this true reality. Without any substance. Without any substance. We can simply have everything. Whole universe, just acting, just moving, without substance. So people never understand it. People never understand because there is a certain separation between the things and what we think of ourselves. As far as the cognition or the concept, consciousness. Oh, yeah. As far as consciousness, or kind of recognition, as I just I told you there are two things, all the two things. One is the things, the other one is what you think of the self. Then you'll be able to recognize what it is. You'll be able to know much about what it is. But this is not a truth. This is not a truth. Without, without, without substance. Without substance. We know much about. We know much about. See what it is. We can know much about what it is. See, this is extremely different from what are the concepts we're thinking. That's the reason we have to do it. We are totally misunderstanding. We have a total delusion. We are deluded. But the people never know much about this reality. That's the reason we have to do it. It is important for us to become clearly aware of this state of non-thinking through our own experience. Always we are experienced. Always we are recognized what it is, or always realize what it is. See, without awareness, we can just simply know much about what it is. See, without awareness, see, we know much about what it is. See, very fascinating. Very then, see, this reality comes first. And then you just recognize, you recognize what's had done, what it was. Then there is certain separation between the things and the things what happened and the person who just recognized. There is certain separation, divided. You see, the things divided by a reality divided by thinking. There is two things. This is not a truth. See, those things just come out in your mind. That's reality just come out in your mind. That is not truth. Reality is always no separation, no division, see? No discrimination. But people never know much about this reality. That's the reason this causes us problem. Oneness, never have any trouble. Okay. So our own experience. That's the reason we have to do that. And then eventually you'll be able to have a certain experience. What reality is. What's no separation is. Okay. Without being able to do this, if you just say, who is going to verify that your own state is truly unconcerned with normal human judgment? Very important thing. See how you can know much about. So how you can know much about what whether your sitting is correct or not. Yeah? Who'll be able to judge it? Who'll be able to judge it? See? All right. You can do it. Only you can do it. See, you never ask someone to just judge it. You never ask someone to you never ask someone how to do that, how to do that. You can know much about it, but as long as you just separate from right now, right now, you never be able to know much about how to do it. See, this is a very important thing. See? Thinking, never thinking was so a concept. Never be able to teach you how to do it. See? How to do it. But this, this body, this Dharma Buddha will be able to teach you how to do it. See, when I clap my hand, you simply become as it is. Without thinking, without thinking anything. This activity, in a sense, this activity just teach you who you are. This activity can teach you what this activity is always teaching, teaching you who you are. This is the way you'll be able to learn who you are, or will be able to realize who you are. Only this activity. See? Otherwise, you never be able to just realize who you are. But people never understand it. People always try to understand, always just realize who we are by thinking, by knowledge. That's totally impossible. That is totally impossible. Simply just sit and whatever just thinking or thought come out in your mind, thinking and thought to come out in your mind without any reason. So we don't need to care much about it. Simply just let it go as it is. This doesn't. This this doesn't just bring you to just encounter the essential self. Right. Okay, I'm connected with normal human judgment. It is only thought. It is only through oneself. That's one can know. One can know. It is only through oneself that one can know. That's it. That's why you have to just you have to study who you are. You have to learn who, you are by or through this body. This body is a sixth sense. See, things to ID, the sound to the ear, the smell to the nose, and the taste to the mouth, so the kind of the heart, and the perception of the heart and the cold to our body and thinking. Only only those six senses will be able to teach you who you are. Only the activity of those six senses teach you, can teach you who you are. Unfortunately, as long as the people just recognize this one as I, or just people never understand. people never understand it, even in concept. But very clear. It's very clear. Once you just become this sound, once you just become this sound, you never be confused. You never have any doubt. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Garrison. Ah, you are always in library. Very simple. That's it. That's it. No doubt. No doubt at all. Very great. Okay. So that's the reason we have to do Zazen until you accept. You accept the whole thing as it is. Soku. This is Japanese. Soku. Means oneness. Oneness is the term. Oneness is the term that is based on our own real truth. This is the way the patriarchs practice that. How the Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just practice is see, always very, we just become familiar with this sound. See? Whenever we do, or whenever we are, whatever we do, see? We are simply familiar with, we are simply become familiar with six senses. Then you'll be able to realize for you, this is Zazen. This way we have to practice. Otherwise, you never be able to just encounter the essential self. See? When I face this, I simply become as it is. When I face this, see? Those things. See, everything we just faced, just verify who we are right now. Not this one. See, people think of this is, people just recognize is this one is the self or the I. That's a totally misunderstanding. If you just try to understand, try to realize who you are through thinking one concept, you never do it. You'll not be able to do it. The more you do, the more you're gonna be confused. So, simply just study and learn. See who we are through this body, Dharma bodies, Dharma body. The other bodies. We just study who we are. We study around who we are by those six senses. And then this sound, just verify who you are. This sound, you can just verify who you are. Okay. Although it's easy to say, but it's totally difficult to do it. Simply become as it is. But you, you are the person who are just always just doing this reason. So you don't need to worry about anything. You never say, I totally give up. You don't need to say give up, giving up. See, you're always doing in your daily life. So you don't need to worry about it. But simply just say, see, then whatever, just thinking I thought come out in you. Just let it go. Gary-san, this only this way you'll be able to encounter the essential self. This essential self is so tremendous, huge, yeah, encountered, uncounted, incredible. So that's the reason we have to do them. See? Because we can be born. We are just born as a human being. Very fortunate, very lucky to have a kind of chance to realize who we are. So we have to make use of this chance. But simply sit whenever you're free. Thank you so much. Today's ticket will be over. Hi, Gary-san.
Yes.
Today is such a, you are just living such a gorgeous mansion.
Just small apartment.
Okay. See you.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Tom-san, see you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Gracias.
Hi. I see.